Hey everyone, I'm here with my Nascar pinball machine, and I got a ColorDMD for it. And basically I just want to replace the old one, even though there's no ROM coming out for this yet. I just wanted to replace it just to change the color. I've been doing some updates to the pinball machine, and I thought the next thing to do was do a ColorDMD on it as well, as I've done pretty much with all my other machines. So this tutorial is going to be to remove the old DMD of the Whitestar Nascar pinball machine to a new ColorDMD pinball machine. I did this with my Monopoly, and it's pretty much the same thing except a different pinball machine. So what I'm going to do now is remove the old DMD, and basically this is the power to the DMD. So we're going to take that out. That doesn't get used. That's just going to kind of sit there for now on, because the power now, which I ran already but I'll show you later on in this video, is that this cable that I'm holding up is the power to the new DMD, and that goes to the front of the cabinet. There's a power source in the front, and that disconnects into that to give power to the new ColorDMD, which gets plugged into the board on the ColorDMD. So what we're going to do first is remove this board from the old DMD, because we're going to use this again on the new one. First we'll take out the ground wiring. So, and I always use a towel as well, just to place down on the pinball machine, because right now I have no glass, because I had to run that cable to the front of the cabinet, so I had to take the glass off to lift the playfield to do that. So it's always good to put a towel down or something, so you're not chasing your screws around when you drop them, because you're going to drop them. It's pretty much the way it goes in pinball, and you're searching for hours for that screw, or you don't want to short anything out or have problems with anything. So basically this is the board that we're going to reuse again. I'm going to take it out of the board here, because the ColorDMD gives you another cable to replace, and that's J2 on this board. So you're going to put that with another cable that ColorDMD offers, and we're going to replace it. So we're just going to take this for now and put that there. Now we're going to remove this connector from the ColorDMD, or from the old DMD, sorry. And then we're just going to remove the 8 screws that hold the old DMD in place. It's pretty easy to do. I've done a lot of them already, so they're not that hard as a mod. And again, as I always say in all my videos, the actual screwdrivers that I'm using here, they're like hex screwdrivers. They're magnetic, so you never really lose your screws when you take them out, because it sticks, to the actual screwdriver. So it's a great investment. Okay, so now the 8 screws are out. So now this old DMD should just kind of lift out. And if your plastic or anything is dirty on the inside, you might want to clean that. I'm just going to place this on the side here. Now we're going to take the new ColorDMD. You know what? We're going to clean it. It seems a bit dusty. Stuff like this, it always gives you the chance to kind of get to parts that you never cleaned before that, you know, may have been dirty. Because usually you're not taking your DMD out to go and clean or anything like that. So yeah, it had some dirt on it. So now we're going to take the new ColorDMD, and the buttons go down towards you. So it's going to mount something like this. You want to line the screw holes up. I just want to line them up first to make sure that everything is going to fit with the. And they give you, meaning ColorDMD gives you 4 replacement screws. So we're not using the old ones that we had before. So now what we're going to do is take the plastic off the front. You don't want to touch the screen. Now you don't want to get any fingerprints on it. So again, the buttons go down towards you. So the buttons are here. These are all your connectors. The USB port would be facing to the left of the pinball machine. So that's another indicator if you're going by anything. So now we're going to take the 4 screws that ColorDMD supplies and screw this in, the new ColorDMD. And again, don't forget, which I always forget to do, which I'm going to try not to forget on this one, is screw down your grounding strips or wires or whatever you want to call them, bands. So I just like to get everything in place. And then take my screwdriver and screw everything down. Okay, now all that is tightened down. So the next thing that we're going to do now is take this old board and screw it down onto the new ColorDMD. I have to get a wrench because that one spacer is becoming a pain. So let me get that. Okay, so now I have my needle nose pliers here, and I need my screwdriver. Because you don't need these spacers now with the the new board, the new ColorDMD board. So now I remove those. Everything is removed now. Now this is the board that we're going to now put on the new ColorDMD. And I just want to make sure the placement I have is correct. And then basically how it goes is that so it goes this way. So this cable that goes to the board, to the back box board, is on the bottom right hand side. So what we need to do now is loosen these screws. And these are already installed on the ColorDMD when you get it. You know, they make a really good package. They make it really easy to do. You know, for installation, meaning ColorDMD. So this goes here. So all we're going to do now is just hand tighten all these screws just for placement. And now we're going to take our screwdriver and don't, just snug it, don't over tighten it. You don't want to crack anything like any of the boards or anything like that. Okay, so now that's in, and now what you want to do is you want to take the cable that ColorDMD supplies, which is here, and that cable goes to this right here, which is DMD in, and you could only really put it in one way. The notch goes on top, so that goes in that way, and then this connects to this board, which is J2 on this board. And I just want to make sure of the right procedure of where the wire goes on that. And the red stripe on this cable goes towards the pinball machine, so it's away from you. So it's on the, if you're looking at the cable, it's on the far end, so it's on this side, not on this side. More towards the back box if you're holding the DMD out. Because that's really important. You don't want to blow anything of having these wires be backwards. So the red wire on this side is more to the right. The red wire on this connector, where the cable goes into on J2 on this board, goes towards the back box. And then you want to take your power cable, which is this, and you want to plug that into the power connector on the ColorDMD. So it's notched, which is over here. So the notch where there's no pin is on the far left hand side, so this only goes in one way as well. So that's in. And again, this is going to the front of the cabinet of the pinball machine. There's an auxiliary connector up there, and that's what that connects into. And this connector does not get used. And I believe this connector does not get used either. Okay, so the last connection on this this auxiliary board here from the display controller board from the old DMD, this power cable that we took out of the original DMD that was on the machine originally does get used again, and where it gets used is on this board here, which is again the display controller board, and that gives this board power which you need. So it's another power source which powers this board. this is getting the power from the front, so that's where this is getting its power from. So the original power source is going to this board that was getting connected to the original DMD that we had installed. So that should be it. So again, this cable, which is J1 on this display controller board, goes to the back box board, and I believe that's the sound and everything else that comes out of this top board. And that still, and the the DMD and all that, that stays where it is. This cable here that ColorDMD supplied goes into the DMD in of the ColorDMD to the J2 connector, I believe that is, on the display controller board that we moved and mounted here. The power source that we had in the original DMD gets plugged into this connector here, which is J3, so that gets connected there. And then the power source where it runs to the front of the cabinet gets plugged into the power source of the ColorDMD. There's also another connector here called an auxiliary. You don't want to use that. Don't plug nothing into that. This USB port is where you would flash any updates to ROMs that ColorDMD puts out, as a on-go. And they have a generic DMD, or I'm sorry, a generic ROM that they do use for DMDs that you just use that no color ROM is made for yet, meaning this pinball machine, or trying to think if I have any other ones right now. Metallica, but that's coming out, I believe, Friday. And my Twilight Zone, I have one in that as well. And so that uses the generic ROM file that you could update as well. So that's where that would go, the USB stick. And then these buttons here actually control the ColorDMD for color, what dots you want, if it's .XL, high res, and the other one's 8-bit, I believe is the other one. So that's what these buttons do. So that's pretty much with this. We attached everything back on. We have our ground strips in place. All the wiring is done. So now we're going to put everything back together. We're going to shoot the front of the cabinet just to see how that is. And then we're going to test it and kind of do a couple demos with the DMD. Okay, so now we're at the front of the cabinet, and basically the cable that we showed where the power goes into the ColorDMD itself is connected to this cable. And the cable that we're looking at here, it's this cable right here, is where the actual ColorDMD, I just routed it through the cabinet. But this cable would go, I also have the mod, that TAC mod by, the name escapes me who created that mod. But I have that mod on my machine as well. And then basically, I take this end right here, which connects into the connection that's already in the cabinet for power, and then I just plug it into that, and that's it. So now the ColorDMD will get power from here. I also have my battery, auxiliary battery connector for the back box, so I get no battery leakage on the boards in the pinball machine. And that's really it. So it's basically this connector, which gives it the power that's routed through the cabinet to the top through the back box, which goes to the boards or to the ColorDMD, and that's what gives it power to the ColorDMD. So now we're going to put everything down. We're going to kind of go through a quick setup of the ColorDMD, and we'll see how everything works. Okay, so everything is back together again, and now what we're going to do is, you can see that the DMD is kind of all distorted and you can't really read anything, because we need to set it up to the correct pinball machine. Basically, they have the Whitestar, you have the SAM for Stern, meaning the two Stern models, and then you have the WPCs 95 and the regular WPC. That these kind of have to get set up for, because they all kind of get the displays set up in different positions for the different machines. So basically what we're going to do to change that, we're going to go to the far right hand side of the ColorDMD and then push that button, and then that's like your select button, so it goes through everything of what you want to do. So we're going to go to mounting. Now it's set for WPC, and we don't want that. We want Whitestar. So we will click the button right next to that far right, and WS is Whitestar. It's what we want. But these are the different ones: SAM, PROC for the board, WPC 95, and WPC. So we want Whitestar for WS, and then we're going to click the far right one again, save and exit, and I think I hit the wrong button. It's the second button from the left is the save. So basically, now everything is set up. Now you could read everything fine, and then we're going to put it to this is probably high res of what it's in right now. So we're going to change that. So again, it's the far right hand button that goes through the modes, and then we're going to go to style. We'll click the button right next to the far right one, and these are the different, so you only have two modes really. You have dots and you have high res. So we'll keep it at the high res for now. I guess for the Williams versions, you have the other 4 different styles. For this, you have 2. So we're going to leave it at that, because it probably hasn't been updated either. I don't know how. I might have to update the ROM on this as well, the file. And then you could change the color. So again, these are the different color modes you could go. So maybe we'll do like a light blue or something like that, because there's a lot of blue in this game. Maybe something like that for now. See how long I like that. And then you get to the end again, to where it says save and exit. And again, I believe it's the second button from the left is the save thing. So that's it. So now you have a ColorDMD. It's one color. It's not like all the other colors like you have when there's a file made specifically for that pinball machine, but it gives it a little, it just makes an old pinball machine a little bit better. So, and then if you want to look at it in the dot version, and that's it in the dot version. So again, for now, I'll leave it high res. I'm going to grab the file anyway and update it and see if it updates it to a newer version. I'm not really sure of what version this was sent out with. Okay, so we're back, and we're gonna I downloaded the upgrade of the ROM for the new ColorDMD, and it's a generic ROM that's on the ColorDMD site. And basically what I do is I take my memory stick, put it into this port right here where my pointer is, and we plug it in, and then we hold the far left hand button, which is here where my pointer is. We hold it down, and there's a light that says program right here where my other pointer is, and then that'll blink and stay steady blinking as the ColorDMD is getting updated with the new ROM. And then when that goes off, then it fully updated the ColorDMD with the ROM. And then the memory stick is formatted with FAT32, which is a format with Windows, and that's I think what ColorDMD recommends, not NTFS but FAT32. So that usually works. And then when it's done, the light is off of the program. We're going to take out the memory stick, and then everything should be updated. We might have to rechange our settings again on the ColorDMD once we look at it. Yeah, because it reverted back to the to the dots. So we'll just go back in again. See, so now it's .xl. Before it wasn't .xl. We only had 2 options. So now if we go through, we have the 4 options that we had before, or 5, 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like 5 or 6. So now we're just going to leave it at .xl because that's kind of what I wanted it to be at. And that's with the bigger dots that we've done on AC/DC. And I actually did it with all my other machines that I have in my house. So now we change it to .xl. Save and exit. Again, it's the second button from the left that saves. And that's it. So we upgraded the ROM, which it was at an older version. So now it's at the newest version, and it gives you the other options now for the display, and pretty much everything else that you need it to do. And we went over the memory stick of how you actually download the ROM to the memory stick and what format it should be in when you actually do the upgrade on the DMD. And I don't know if anybody is interested, but this is how I keep pretty much all my stuff together for all my pinball machines. Every one of my pinball machines, I created this like notebook type of thing, and I put, you know, the artwork on the cover. It's basically like the flyers of the pinball machine on the notebook, you know, just to kind of tell it what it is. And if you open it up, the notebook, basically here's like a checklist of things that I installed on the machine, or the maintenance list on it, and I update that as I keep doing things on the pinball machine with the dates, like if I waxed it or if I changed the ColorDMD. I have a different insertions for different things that I do, like repairs, maintenance, parts, installation. I'm not always up to date, but as I look at it and I kind of remember what I've done on my machines, I kind of go back and I, you know, redo it or reinstall it, or reinsert it on my list. And then basically with this, you know, this is the manual that you would get from Stern. You download as a PDF. You know, so I just kind of put it in a binder. I also have the actual manual inside the machine as well for a lot of my games. And then here is just basically the mods that I put on the machine. Just pictures of maybe the wiring in case something gets messed up. I have the pictures, you know, of the wiring of how things go. Then this one's the coin taker LED bulb replacement kit that I did. This is, I think, for the Hooked on Pinball. That's who made actually the tack. Hooked on Pinball, the tack mod manual that I downloaded. This is when I upgraded my chips, my ROM chips, the placement of what goes where. So in case I forget some stuff, and I also take pictures of the play field as well, or some of the rubbers, or, you know, just different things and the underneath, just so I know, you know, when you're doing maintenance on your machines and sometimes you take screws out, you don't take pictures of them and you're looking at it going, you've kind of forgot how things go. You know, I kind of look back at the images that I take or I download from the web or whatever, and I just keep it in my book here, and it kind of just tells me, you know. So usually I'll take pictures from underneath the play. I don't have one any of underneath the play field on this machine, but usually I'll take pictures of underneath the play field as well with the wiring, so I kind of know where things go as well. So that's kind of what I do. Again, like for all my games, I make a little notebook, and, you know, it just keeps me a little more organized when I do my different things on my games. So it's something to kind of think about. So that's my video of the installation of the ColorDMD on my Nascar Whitestar pinball machine. And again, thanks for everybody for watching my videos, and I get some positive feedback, which is great, because, you know, again, I like to really help people out, and it's good to know that people are watching my videos or going to my website and blog and all that, and, you know, seeing the posts that I put on there really gives me a reason to want to do it, because, again, it's a lot of time, but again, I like doing it to help people out, and I like it just because it's a great hobby. So again, the website's www.pinballsupernova.com. And I have a Twitter page, a YouTube page, and a Facebook page. And again, please subscribe to the YouTube page if you haven't, with the videos of all the color DMDs I've installed and some of the maintenance things that I've done on my machines. So again, thanks for watching, and talk to you soon. Thanks.